Anna, an experienced flight attendant, has always been extremely caring towards passengers. She's naturally empathetic. In the busy airport, she spots 7 to 8-year-old Liam in red Crocs, whose mood sours after a whisper from the man she assumes is his dad. What secrets lie beneath? And how will this impact her flight? Hi everyone. Welcome to Story Hideaway. Let's get started. Anna Hensley, a 32-year-old flight attendant with 8 years of experience, was making her way through the bustling airport terminal. The early morning sun had just started to peek over the horizon, and the airport was filled with the usual commotion, announcements blaring, people chatting, and the sound of luggage wheels rolling on the polished floor. Anna was headed for her flight to Buenos Aires with SkyPath Airlines flight SKP-412. While walking towards the crew check-in counter, her attention was caught by a young black boy. The boy, who seemed to be around 7 or 8 years old, was spinning and dancing in the queue line. What made him stand out was a pair of bright red Crocs on his feet, which added a splash of color among the sea of tired-looking travelers. His infectious happiness was a stark contrast to the general weariness in the air. When the boy noticed Anna looking at him, he immediately waved cheerfully, his face splitting into a wide grin. Anna couldn't help but smile back, feeling a warm glow in her chest. However, this moment of joy was short-lived. A white man, presumably the boy's father, leaned down and whispered something in the child's ear. Instantly, the boy's demeanor changed. His shoulders slumped, his smile disappeared, and his eyes filled with tears. The man, clearly flustered by the public display of emotion, quickly reached into his sling bag, took out a handful of tissues, and roughly wiped the boy's face. "Stop crying," he hissed. "You're too old for this. What will people think?" Anna felt a twinge of discomfort at witnessing this scene, but she thought it might just be a common family conflict and decided to move on. At the crew check-in, Anna met her friend and fellow flight attendant, Sophia. They exchanged greetings and started chatting about their plans for the layover in Buenos Aires. Sophia was particularly excited about having Argentine steak and wine. As they waited for the rest of the crew, they discussed their flight-related duties. Finally, the captain arrived and gathered the crew for the pre-flight briefing. He informed them about the clear skies ahead for their journey to Buenos Aires and went through the standard protocols. During the briefing, Anna's mind briefly wandered back to the boy with the red Crocs. She wondered where he was headed and what had caused such a sudden change in his mood. But she quickly refocused on the task at hand. After the briefing, the crew made their way through the expedited security and immigration checkpoints. Anna, as always, was meticulous in checking her documentation. Once at the gate, 90 minutes before departure, she immediately immersed herself in her pre-flight duties. She checked all the safety equipment in the aircraft, including life vests, fire extinguishers, and oxygen tanks. In the galley, she made sure all the food and drink supplies were in order, wiped down surfaces, and organized utensils. She also paid close attention to each row of seats, ensuring there was a life vest under each seat, removing any leftover rubbish, and making sure the safety information cards were present and easily accessible. As the passengers started boarding, Anna took her position at the aircraft's entrance, greeting each passenger with a warm smile and a professional demeanor. When it was the turn of the man and the boy she had seen earlier, she recognized them immediately. The boys' red Crocs seemed even more vibrant up close. She asked for their boarding passes and directed them to their seats, 18A and 18B. As the boarding process continued, Anna noticed that the boy, whose name she later learned was Liam Trent, was excited about flying. He asked if he could have a special gift for being a first-time flyer. However, the man, his father, as she initially thought, firmly refused, saying their cabin luggage was already full. Anna, feeling sorry for Liam, offered to bring him some yummy snacks later instead. During the boarding, Anna also witnessed Liam's attempts to engage his father in conversation. He was curious about the pictures in the in-flight magazine and safety instruction card, asking his father to explain what they meant. But the man, absorbed in his phone, barely glanced up and told Liam to be quiet. This interaction made Anna feel that something was amiss, but she was too busy with her duties to dwell on it further. Finally, the plane was ready for takeoff. As it taxied down the runway and lifted off, Anna heard a child's cry. It wasn't the typical cry of an infant scared by the pressure change, but a more distressed sound. She soon realized it was Liam. The sound faded as the plane leveled out, but it left Anna with an unsettling feeling. Despite her years of experience, she felt that this flight was different. As the seat belt sign dinged off and she prepared for the in-flight service, she couldn't help but cast a worried glance towards row 18, where Liam sat silently beside the man, his red Crocs barely visible beneath the seat in front of him. As the plane settled into its cruise phase, Anna and Sophia busied themselves in the galley, preparing for the meal service. This was a familiar routine for them, but Anna's mind was still occupied by the strange interactions she had witnessed between Liam and the man. Just as they were about to start serving the passengers, Liam appeared at the entrance of the crew area. His eyes were red-rimmed, and there were clear tear marks on his cheeks. Anna immediately crouched down to his level and asked gently, "Hello there, little one. Do you need some help?" Liam shook his head, looking extremely nervous. Anna remembered her promise of snacks and offered him a bag of chocolate cookies. Liam took the bag, clutching it tightly to his chest. Then, he pointed to the empty crew seats and asked if he could sit there. "I don't want to sit with my dad," he said in a barely audible voice. Anna was taken aback by this request, as it was not normal for a passenger to ask to sit in the crew area. She explained kindly but firmly that passengers were not allowed there. "Is everything okay? Why don't you want to go back to your seat?" she probed. At the mention of going back to his seat, Liam's eyes widened in fear, and he took a small step further into the galley, repeating his plea to stay with them. Before Anna could ask more questions, the man, Mark, as it would later be revealed, appeared behind Liam. He had a forced smile on his face and apologized to the flight attendants. "He's just a bit nervous about flying. It's his first time. I told him to go wash his face," he explained. Anna nodded, but she couldn't shake the feeling that something was very wrong. The man's grip on Liam's shoulder seemed too tight, and Liam had gone completely still at his touch. Liam then asked his dad if he could go to the lavatory with him, passing the bag of cookies to Mark. Mark's expression briefly showed annoyance and frustration before he agreed and accompanied Liam to the lavatory. As soon as the lavatory door closed, a muffled cry came from inside, which was quickly masked by the sound of the flush system. When they emerged, Liam's face was freshly washed but looked undeniably sad. They returned to their seats without another word to Anna or Sophia. Shortly after, it was time for the meal service. Anna and Sophia moved through the cabin with the service cart, offering food, drinks, and merchandise. As they approached row 18, Anna felt a sense of apprehension. She greeted Liam and Mark with a warm smile and asked if they would like some lunch. Just as Liam was about to respond, he suddenly vomited. The vomit splattered across the folding table, his jeans, and his red Crocs. Mark jumped back in disgust, clearly unprepared for this situation. He fumbled in his sling bag to find something to clean up the mess, and a small packet fell out. Anna caught a glimpse of it and thought it might be some kind of medication. Mark quickly stuffed it back into his bag. Anna immediately took charge, grabbing a stack of thick napkins from the cart to clean up the mess. "It's okay, don't worry. This happens sometimes, especially on first flights," she reassured Liam. Sophia noticed something strange about the vomit. "Anna, did you see that? The vomit was pink, and there was something that looked like a partially digested tablet in it," she whispered. Anna was shocked. She hadn't paid that close attention to the contents of the vomit as her focus had been on cleaning up. But now that Sophia mentioned it, she remembered the dropped medication packet, and a sense of unease began to grow in the pit of her stomach. Liam wanted to go to the lavatory to clean up, and he insisted on going alone. As he made his way there, Anna noticed how unsteady he seemed on his feet. After he left, Mark asked for a bottle of water, and Anna provided it. When Liam returned, Anna overheard Mark urging him to take more medicine. "If you take it, you'll see your mother very soon." "I promise," Mark said. Liam was clearly reluctant but finally swallowed the pills Mark handed him, washing them down with a large gulp of water. Just as Anna was about to continue with the meal service, the in-flight phone rang. It was the captain. "Anna, we've just received some disturbing information from air traffic control. A mother has reported her child missing." Airport security cameras captured footage of a black child matching the description walking through security with a white man and boarding a flight. We're not sure which one yet. The child is described as a young boy around 7 or 8 years old, wearing red Crocs, the captain informed her. Anna's heart skipped a beat. She was almost certain that the child the captain was referring to was Liam. "Captain, I think that child is on our plane. Seat 18A. His name is Liam Trent," she replied, her voice barely above a whisper. The captain decided to divert the plane to Panama, the nearest airport. He instructed Anna to maintain absolute normalcy and not to tip off the suspect. Anna informed Sophia of the situation, and they both knew they had a difficult task ahead. They had to keep everyone safe and ensure that Liam made it home to his mother. Anna then went to the lavatory to gather her thoughts. As she closed the door, she noticed something written on the mirror in what looked like soap or lotion. It was a simple message, "Miss Mommy." Anna's breath caught in her throat. She quickly took out her phone and snapped a photo of the message, knowing it could be crucial evidence. She then marked the lavatory as out of service to preserve the message. When she returned to the galley, the captain made an announcement to the passengers. "Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. We've encountered unexpected turbulence ahead and unfavorable weather conditions at our destination. For everyone's safety, we've decided to route and land at the nearest airport, Tocumen International Airport in Panama. We'll keep you updated on our progress and appreciate your understanding as we prioritize your comfort and security." This announcement caused a stir among the passengers, and Anna had to move through the cabin, reassuring them that everything was under control. As she passed by row 18, she noticed that Mark was looking increasingly agitated. He kept checking his watch and looking around the cabin nervously. Liam was still fast asleep, completely unaware of the drama unfolding around him. A passenger a few rows ahead asked Anna if there was something wrong with the plane. Anna calmly explained that it was just a precautionary measure due to potential turbulence and that their safety was the top priority. Mark also approached Anna, expressing his suspicion about the weather conditions as he thought the sky looked perfectly clear outside. Anna managed to convince him that weather conditions could change rapidly at high altitudes and that they were just following protocol. She then informed him that they should prepare for landing as they would be touching down in less than 30 minutes. Anna knew that the next 30 minutes would be extremely crucial and challenging, but she was determined to do everything in her power to ensure Liam's safety. The plane touched down in Panama with a practiced precision. As the passengers prepared to deplane, Anna, keeping her wits about her, suggested to the man, Mark, that since Liam was still sound asleep, they should let the other passengers leave first. This would give Liam a chance to wake up naturally, and she offered to assist them. Mark, looking increasingly nervous, hesitated for a moment but eventually agreed. Anna carefully lifted the unconscious Liam from his seat, his small body limp in her arms. She made her way slowly down the aisle, with Mark following closely behind. As they reached the aircraft door and stepped onto the jet bridge, they were immediately met by a group of plain-clothes officers. One of the officers stepped forward, his voice firm and commanding. "Mark Trent, we need you to come with us. Step aside immediately." Mark froze, his face turning ashen. "What's this about? I don't understand," he stammered, feigning confusion. But his protests were in vain as the officers swiftly moved in, restraining and handcuffing him. "Mark Trent, you're under arrest for the attempted kidnapping of a minor," one of the officers stated clearly, reading him his rights. Anna, still cradling Liam, watched in relief as Mark was led away. She then followed the law enforcement officers through the bustling terminal and into a secure room within the airport. Inside the room, a woman was pacing anxiously. The moment she saw Liam in Anna's arms, her eyes filled with tears of relief and joy. This woman was Liam's mother, Melissa Carter. "Melissa Carter, this is Anna, the flight attendant who alerted us to the situation," an officer introduced them softly. Melissa's eyes met Anna's, and she whispered, "Thank you so much." Anna carefully transferred Liam into his mother's waiting arms. The instant Liam felt his mother's embrace, even in his deep sleep, his body seemed to relax, as if on an instinctual level, he knew he was safe. As Liam began to stir, his eyes fluttered open. Confusion was evident on his face as he tried to make sense of his surroundings. When his gaze finally landed on his mother, the confusion was replaced by tears. "Mom, I thought I lost you. Uncle Mark said you were going to be on the plane, but you weren't there," he sobbed. Melissa hugged him tightly, her own tears flowing freely. "It's okay, baby. You're safe now. We're going home soon," she comforted him. The detective in charge then stepped forward to explain the situation. "We've questioned Mark Trent. He's admitted to planning to take Liam to Argentina, where Liam's father currently resides. Liam's father has no legal parental rights due to a history of abuse. Is that right, Mrs. Carter?" Melissa nodded, her face a mask of anger and pain. "Yes, that's true. I had a feeling it might be a family member behind this when I found Liam missing from the playground a few days ago. I even got a threatening message from my ex-husband about Liam. I never thought they'd go this far," she said, her voice trembling. Melissa further recounted that she had left Liam at the playground in a shopping center while she quickly went in to do some grocery shopping. She thought it was a safe space with children wearing registration bracelets. The detective nodded sympathetically, praising her for reporting the disappearance immediately. "Your quick action and the alert flight crew helped prevent what could have been a much worse outcome. I recommend you report this to the authorities in Miami when you get back. They can look into the situation at the playground," he advised. The airline representative, who had been present, then stepped forward. "We're arranging separate return flights. Mr. Trent will be transported back to Miami for processing, while we'll ensure Miss Carter and Liam have a safe and comfortable flight home," he informed the group. The detective also turned to Anna and the other crew members. "Miss Carter will need to provide a formal statement once she's back in Miami. And Miss Hensley, we need your statement as well, along with those of your crew members," he said. Anna, still processing the whirlwind of events, began to recount her observations to the detective. She started from the first sighting of Liam and Mark at the airport, described their interactions on the plane, and ended with the discovery of the message in the lavatory. As she spoke, she felt a mix of relief that the ordeal was over and lingering concern for Liam and his mother. In the midst of all this, Mark was led past the room by police officers. At the sight of him, Melissa's face hardened with anger. Unable to contain herself, she stood up, still holding Liam, and called out, "How dare you? He's my son, not yours or his." Mark turned, his face twisted into a sneer. "He belongs with his father. You can't keep him away forever," he spat back. But the officers quickly hustled him away, and his words hung in the air, a chilling reminder of the danger Liam had been in. As the formal proceedings continued, Anna found herself drawn to Melissa and Liam. She felt a deep connection to this small family that had been through so much. She knew that her role in their story was coming to an end, but she hoped that for Liam and Melissa, this was the beginning of a safer, happier chapter. Despite her exhaustion from the long and eventful day, Anna offered to stay with Melissa and Liam until their flight. She felt responsible for them, and a familiar face might bring them some comfort in this difficult time. After the intense events in the secure room, Anna's offer to stay with Melissa and Liam until their flight was gratefully accepted. They made their way to the airport lounge, a haven of relative quiet and comfort compared to the chaos that had just unfolded. Once inside the lounge, a representative from the airline's corporate office approached them. He had a warm smile on his face as he turned to Anna. "Miss Hensley," he said, his voice filled with genuine appreciation, "I wanted to personally thank you for your alertness and quick thinking today. Your actions potentially saved a child's life. The company will be formally recognizing your exceptional service." Anna, feeling a bit embarrassed by the praise, simply replied, "I just did what anyone would do. I'm just glad Liam is safe now." Liam, still groggy from the sedation he had been given on the plane, was starting to show signs of coming back to himself. His grip on his mother's hand gradually loosened, and he began to take tentative steps around the lounge, his natural curiosity peeking through. Melissa, meanwhile, was busy filling out paperwork for their new flights. Every now and then, she would pause to stroke Liam's hair or whisper a few words of comfort to him. As they sat in the lounge, Anna watched their interactions. She noticed the small but significant changes in Liam. His shoulders, which had been hunched in fear and tension, were starting to relax. Every so often, a faint smile would appear on his face, especially when he engaged with his mother. These were heartening signs, indicating that despite the trauma he had endured, the resilience of childhood was beginning to assert itself. As their departure time drew near, Anna accompanied Melissa and Liam to the gate. Liam's excitement had visibly grown. He was pointing at the planes visible through the large windows, his eyes bright with curiosity. "Mom, look. That one's huge," he exclaimed, his face pressed against the glass as he watched a jumbo jet taxi down the runway. Melissa smiled at her son's enthusiasm, a mixture of relief and joy on her face. She turned to Anna, her eyes brimming with unshed tears.
"I can't thank you enough, Anna. You saved my son's life."
"I don't know what would have happened if you hadn't noticed him." Anna felt a lump form in her throat. "Liam's safety is all the thanks I need," she replied softly. "I'm just glad I could help." Anna had been cleared by the airline to accompany them on the flight home as a gesture of gratitude for her role in the day's events. As they boarded the plane, Anna once again fell into her professional role, assisting Melissa and Liam with their carry on bags and guiding them to their seats. When she helped Liam with his seatbelt, she couldn't help but think about how different this moment was compared to their first encounter on the flight to Buenos Aires. "Is this your first time flying, Liam?" Anna asked, echoing her question from earlier but with a wink this time. Liam's response was enthusiastic. "No, this is my second time, and it's way better because Mom's here," he exclaimed. Anna chuckled, her heart warming at the boy's excitement. "Well, I think that calls for something special," she said with a smile. She excused herself and went to the back of the plane, returning moments later with a small gift, a wooden puzzle in the shape and colors of an airplane. "This is for our special second-time flyer," Anna said, presenting the gift to Liam. The boy's face lit up as he accepted the puzzle, immediately starting to examine its pieces. "Thank you," he exclaimed, his earlier trauma seemingly forgotten in the face of this new adventure. As the plane took off and settled into its flight, Anna made her way through the cabin, attending to the needs of the other passengers. But every now and then, her eyes would drift to Liam and Melissa. She saw Liam engrossed in his puzzle, his tongue sticking out slightly in concentration as he tried to fit the pieces together, and Melissa watching him with a mix of love and lingering concern, her hand resting protectively on his shoulder. Anna knew that this flight home was not just a physical journey for them but also a step towards healing and a new beginning. The flight back to Miami was uneventful, a stark contrast to the drama-filled journey that preceded it. Anna moved through the cabin, attending to the passengers with her usual professionalism. However, her heart was always drawn to Liam and Melissa in their seats. As the plane neared its destination, Anna made her final rounds. She paused at Liam's row and was delighted to see that he had completed the wooden puzzle. The once subdued boy was now beaming with pride as he showed off his accomplishment. "Well done, Liam," Anna praised, her voice filled with warmth. Liam's smile grew even wider, and his eyes sparkled with joy. The captain's voice came over the intercom, announcing their final descent. Anna returned to her station, her mind filled with thoughts about the day's events. She reflected on how a simple observation of a boy in red Crocs had led to a chain of events that changed lives. This experience had taught her that her role as a flight attendant was not just about routine tasks but about being observant and acting on her instincts. When the plane landed smoothly, the passengers began to gather their belongings. Anna stood by the exit, bidding farewell to each passenger. When Liam and Melissa reached her, Liam surprised Anna with a tight hug. "Thank you for the puzzle," he said, his voice muffled against her uniform. Anna knelt down to his level, looking into his eyes. "You're very welcome, Liam. Have a wonderful time at home with your mom," she replied, her tone gentle. Melissa also expressed her gratitude one last time.
"You've been a blessing, Anna."
"I hope you know how much we appreciate what you've done for us," she said, her eyes glistening with tears. Anna smiled and assured her that it was her pleasure to help. As Anna watched Liam and Melissa walk hand in hand down the jet bridge, she felt a profound sense of completion. This day, which had started with a sense of unease, had ended with a happy reunion. She knew that she would never forget this experience and the impact she had made on this small family. Back in the cabin, Anna assisted the remaining passengers with their disembarkation. As she did, she caught sight of her reflection in one of the overhead compartment doors. The face looking back at her was tired but also satisfied. She had fulfilled her duty not only as a flight attendant but as a protector of those in need. This incident had a lasting effect on Anna. It made her more vigilant on every flight she took. She approached each passenger with even more care and attention, always on the lookout for anything that seemed amiss. She knew that the smallest detail could potentially make a huge difference, just like the red Crocs that had initially caught her eye. For Liam and Melissa, this was the beginning of a new chapter. They were finally going home, free from the threat that had loomed over them. Melissa was determined to provide a safe and loving environment for Liam, and Liam was looking forward to a normal life with his mother. As Anna prepared for her next flight, she carried the memories of this extraordinary day with her. It served as a reminder of the importance of her job and the power she had to change lives. She was ready to face new challenges and to continue making a positive impact on the passengers she served. And every time she saw a child wearing red Crocs, she would be reminded of Liam and the day she helped bring a family back together.